Okay, so this is really shaping up to be a rather interesting game, to say the least. Interesting mid game here, and rather complex, to be frankly honest. Um, because we got all these mixed units and turn orders that we got to worry about and whatnot, especially when we start getting down into the cause of defense and shuffling units around here. So this is between advancing and stacking and defending. It's a really rather a challenging moment here. I'd be really comfortable if I could just have a three-way stack, but that's just I'm still far away from being able to do that. So I really want to try to create something here. But before I even get there, the one good news thing that I'd say is even if I had the Russians just turtle on up into Moscow, currently the Russians got 11, 37, 47, 53, about 60 units or so sitting here that can defend. So to defeat 60 units of defense, you're going to need probably about 70 or more units of offense. And his main stack here has 25, 31, 34, 37. You bring these guys in, that's still just like 49, and these guys get in. So, I mean, he has got a while till Japan's going to take Moscow, even if all I did was turtle Russia. That's the one positive I'm looking at. The negative is because because I want to advance the front line up here, I'm going to have to slow down my reinforcements to Africa, which means I'm going to concede some territory in Africa and fight for what we can, but we're gonna have to concede some ground in here. I am kind of counting on him continuing. The good news is he is pushing units. Not all the units are going through here. He's pushing some units back that way. I do need to remember my UK guy up here. So the other bad news thing is I knew I should have looked at what the leaving the Suez meant, leaving it open, and basically that means he can use a transport to come hit these guys with all this air and destroy my bomber and have control of northern Africa. Um, so I'm going to try to be a little discouraging on that, although that's a little bit of a challenge. In that, the good news is I got two carrier groups here that can come in here and catch fighters coming across here and some bombers. Plus, he wants to continue to load C Zone 34. So he'd have to protect C Zone 15, 34 together, as well as continue to protect C Zone 61. So, anyways, we're going to do a lot of shuffling of fleets. This is going to get really kind of complex because I'm going to do some mixed fleets turn order stuff here in C Zone 8 and C Zone 5 and 3, and just hope I don't goof this all up because I probably will because I did it in the last game. So, and that wasn't near as complex as this setup is. But basically, my whole goal is I want to move my stack to Belarusia. But he's got quite a chunk here, plus the Air Force gunning it down. So I really need, I want to leave my Russians back. I'm really going to need a lot of support coming in. And I'd rather not, I want to use every single American and UK infantryman coming in here. So my plan is to distract one transport, US transport, to come in here. We'll have enough backing that he won't want to attack that with these guys. And then we'll have the UK come in there, which will distract the Japan from attacking. And then the Americans pull out. And because we're going to build a destroyer with UK this turn, that would be getting him 5 units in here to distract there from the Germans wanting to attack. It's a lot. I'm still thinking about this. I'm going to pause and I'm going to. My own head is wrapping around this. Okay. After pausing in hindsight and talking through that, that's just sounding more and more too crazy to me. Um, so we're going. I'm still wavering as I'm talking. Um, I really don't. I just don't want to get all these fleets all mixed up. But at the same time, I want to get these fighters over on the mainland so that they can come down to Kaza and not having to be held here. Hmm. We may just take the pressure off of 10 for a second. So we're going to be. I mean, this all goes to the U.S. turn too, right? So it plays a role in all of this as well. So if we're sending 6 transports back, we're taking 4. That leaves him, or 3 transports for 6 men. We go ahead and just send him back to C Zone 1 for a turn. Then we can move the battleship carrier up here to defend. Or actually even into here. And still leave this guy so I can still transport down and not slow Africa. If we end up moving the US down here during their turn, Germany then would not strike. UK pulls out, and it depends on what Japan would have left. Okay, I think we're going to go that route. Because I want to get these fighters off of here, so UK is going to need some help still. But if we just defer not loading in C Zone 10 and go ahead and load back here for a turn again, it'll take some pressure off here and it'll allow him freedom to move some units up. But if that helps us get the stack, and basically what all that means is I'm going to have to use a little bit of the more of the Russian infantry. I was just going to use the 2 Russian infantry coming in, but we're going to have to use, maybe 5 or 6 Russian infantry into the Bellow stack to help hold it, and then just accept the fact that we're going to trade West Russia and Caucasus still. And I think that's the route we're going to go. All right. All that said, boy, this is why I talked. Oh, yeah, German. So they continue maxing out their ground production. The good news is he's only producing 11. So the fact that I'm not trading Italy is more just about, it's 1 unit a turn that I'm not getting. He's not, at least he's not producing 13 units there right now. So Caucasus, I did give it to him for free last time. That's right. Belarusia, he took with 1 infantry without a loss. Baltic took without a loss. Northwestern, he lost one unit on that attack. And everything else, he's just positioning in here. So the good thing about a bellow stack too, it cut off the. So if you look at it how I am right now, I've got this 2 stacked. I'm trading a 4, a 2, and a 2. If I come to bellow, then I'm going to be trading a 4, a 2, a 2, and another 2. So I'm going to be forcing him into 1 more additional trade, plus cutting off his supply line to Ukraine here that he'll have to now start using his supply line down this way, which is going to make a Baltic stack, secondary stack, that much more easy. Eventually, just kind of talking through the future steps there. All right. Whew. So 5 infantry, 2 artillery. I do still want to go ahead and build a destroyer down here because if I can get them to have 5 units, that at least matches Germany, so U.S. doesn't have to continue to support them if the UK wants to continue to operate on their own down here. So I don't really like buying extra ships, and I got a lot of Navy going around here, but because I really want to keep trading down here as many as I can, we're going to go with it. I'm just not going to talk myself out of it. I'm just going to hit it and go. I've talked myself too much already. could do a bombing run. What do I want to do here? I mean, he could support up there, but I mean, 16 units missing should not be an issue. Yeah, cruiser. I was gonna say. Hey. Alright. So we got 2 cruisers and a carrier. All he's got's 2 fighters that can reach for Japan. And then we're going to bring in Americans to support versus Germany. Oh, and we're going to have our destroyer build too. So. Oh. Don't want to forget about... Don't want to forget about this guy. In hindsight, I probably should have left a UK guy back for continued trade here. So I'll probably leave, 1 US or 2 US guys back to trade over here so that I don't have to use the Russians to trade so as much. But, all right. There we go. We're on the move. Hopefully in the right way. Okay, I gotta do a super speed round. Unfortunately, this is a very critical turn too. Um, just holidays, weekends, time, lunch breaks, gotta roll. I may have went too prematurely here, and I cannot stack here, here, and here. I cannot stack here and here. It would be nice to pull all my Russians here, then I would dead zone Ukraine and force them out. But then that permanently gives up the Kaza. I could not get back and dead zone Kaza, so that then his India infantry would meet this stack, and then he's going to have a big stack facing me. So I think it's more important to keep the Kaza breaking up the two. So that's what we're going to do. I got myself in weird movements. I got to play fast and conservatively. So these aren't necessarily the best movements I'm going to make. They're just the movements I'm going to make. So we're going to get 8 infantry, 2 fighters, because I lost my bomber in there too. But I just need some defensive hit points in Belarusia, as well as down here in Africa. So, oh, you know what? That's one thing I was going to look at real quick. Can we do it? You know what? Okay, yeah. I don't want to do that. And I don't know if I need the how many of what I need, so we're just, oops, gonna do that. I'm probably gonna make a horrible mistake here. Da, da, da. Hopefully whatever I goof up is recoverable, is all I can say. Da, da, da. Nothing else to attack, right? Okay. Oh, whoops. No. Ah, crap. I thought I built the two fighters. Dang it, I knew I was gonna goof up something. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. That's a bad, 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 bad spot. Crap. Dang it. This is what I get for rushing. Dang it, 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 dang it. Well, I guess I'm going to be hoping for a Dice Gods moment. I can't believe I goofed that up. Are you kidding? Well, doesn't even flippin' matter. Ah, this is just very, very, very bad. Everything's going wrong now. Ah, this is a turning point. This is what I get for having to rush. Why didn't I watch the timer last night? So now he'll be able to stack Novo as well, I believe. Oh my goodness. Well, that might have been the GG right there, guys. I am so sorry. Such a good game to waste. But I guess it's better than a timeout. Alright, gotta go. Alright, so I got a slight reenactment of me opening up, whoops, the correct game. And I opened up the game. And this was a holy happy hallelujah. My 7 transports are not at the bottom of the ocean up here. I didn't even care what the rest of the board looked like at that point. I was just happy. I was very afraid because that was supposed to be 2 fighters there, that he would take a shot with his 3 bombers with a 65% chance to sink 7 transports. So the rest of everything else is just kind of, is just icing on the cake, So I haven't even really looked at the rest of this yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if we take this guy, we're gonna leave 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, US will go. So it's just these guys would have 5 planes. Japan could have 5 planes if he wanted to attack these 4 boats. If I pull the UK out, because I'd rather them be up here, up there. We're only gonna have we'd only have 3, and I need these fighters to come down here, and that might be a bit risky because he'd have 2 fighters and a bomber. So maybe I'll just leave them parked here another turn because I think these are gonna have to exit. Possibly just to kill my guys here. So any case, money was down, is starting to get a little bit low. We had 27. Currently, we have 21 before this turn. We're gonna hopefully take a couple that will take us back up again. But I'm just not going to spend it all. I do want 1 artillery, but we're just going to conserve as we start to lose. We'll save up some for as we lose some Africa income here. Now, I am going to have to do one thing I didn't really want to do, and that's take a shot at this tank. Worst case scenario, I lose my bomber, which is the most likely case scenario with how my game goes. So, but if I don't, he's actually got positive IPC value at attacking this stack because of my rush, as well as positive IPC value attacking this stack. Or actually, this is neutral, 50-50. But if I can take him out and I lose a bomber, this will now be negative. This will be negative for him. Both, yeah, he'd have a chance to win and clear the units, but it'd be at a great cost of his air force. So, but with the tank, it actually leads to a positive IPC value battle on either one of those. So, I just want to take him out because I don't want to get these guys wiped in particular. Because then he's going to have 3 transports here and 6 more guys coming the next turn, and I've only got, well, I would have 6 guys here as well, and just all my Air Force up here, and so, anyways, I just don't want him to attack. So, hopefully we can prevent him from attacking. Meanwhile, if we can win this territory, that means it does not take much at all to stack the Baltic this turn, so we're going to stack Baltic and leave Bello. We can't stack both because of how big this stack is. We would need everything in here to hold Bello. But if I'm sitting in Baltic stacked, then we're sitting pretty good, right? The one thing I just did realize that I did not include in my calculation is, actually, no, it doesn't matter. I was going to say is if Japan cleared out anybody, but they're not going to have the opportunity to. So never mind. So we'll be able to have one infantry, so the tanks are blocked from coming in, and have a stack here. The remainder I'll probably put back here just to discourage him trying to move a West Russia stack. If he went all into Caucasus, or maybe not, maybe I'll just put him in. If he goes all in Caucasus, it's 50-50 toss-up coin battle for Russia on them, most likely. So, all right, anyways, here we go. We do need to take this guy, because this guy prevents these bombers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and these bombers from threatening Sea Zone 3 as long as we take Northwest Europe. So we are going to take Northwest Europe. That does mean I'm going to use my artillery, and our cruiser is going to win. Our cruiser is going to hit. I think we'll pull the tanks back to Karelia so they have dual movement, because sitting them in Baltic doesn't really matter, and I don't really need them for the stack. I mean, we got 18 units going in there by themselves, so that's cool. Because I have to use my bomber here, and I need all my fighters. So 1, 2, 3. I need all 8 of my UK fighters down here. Means I can't hit here with air, so I could use an artillery, but I'd rather save it. So I'm going to let the Americans take this one. Dang it. That's all the UK attacks. You know what? I'll leave one guy back for the blocker. You've got one thing you have to do, cruiser. One thing. Thank you. Good thing my cruiser's pointless. But they did their job, so all good. Man, what is up with that? I'm not going to risk the air. Not this time I can't. Sometimes I'll take that battle. Overall, it's kind of slightly defender value, but depending on the placements of everything, it's kind of worth it. But the big one is I want his tank to whiff. I really want his tank to whiff. I actually hope he trades West Russia with his Japan infantry. Then I can take it back and get double money from it. Come on, whiff on the tank. A 5 on the tank. Tank's going to roll a 5. Here we go. And this is a 5. Dang it. Well, I didn't really want my bombers anyways. So that means there's no bomber here, so he can abandon 61 and just leave guys there now. But I still feel I needed to do that battle regardless. Stay put. Everything else is good. Go. Okay, so Japan is getting kind of big. I mean, building a fighter, 13 infantry, artillery, and a transport. Now, I'm glad he built another transport. So he built a 4th transport down here, which I found interesting. Because, I mean, you only got so much that you can be able to transport for so long from a 3 producer if you're not continuing to file people in. So it's kind of a tempo move right now because it does kind of force me to make a decision here in Africa. But I'm fine with it. I want him to divert resources down this way because ultimately I'm going to give up Africa when I'm taking Berlin, hopefully. So I'm kind of okay with it, ish. 1, 2, 3. Just make it. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm good. So yeah, we're gonna roll with it. That being said, I did decide we're gonna come back to West Russia and Baltic stacked, and mainly because if I didn't really have enough Russians to dead zone Caucasus from Russia, Germany, excuse me, moving in, and then the Japan air all filling in there. So we're gonna do it since we're gonna take Poland, we're gonna have this. We can have a small stack here, move the stack here. We're still gonna keep Kaza stacked, you know, and we're gonna play it that way this turn. I mean, we'll still be able to keep Novo dead zoned. So that's the play. Purchase. These boats are going to be stalled going down here because we're going all the way to 24 to 22 back to 11. So these 3 boats are really just kind of stalled out. They're not going to be getting units anytime soon. I got these 3 going over, so I need 6 units for him. There we go. I'm going ahead and picking up a a fighter and a bomber. Um, I'm almost tempted to buy another transport instead of the fighter, because I'm actually not going to need the fighter, because C-Zone 3, these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, wait, 5, 6, so I got to be careful about that a little bit. If I don't take this guy, these Germans can reach there, as well as these guys can reach there, so we need to be a little bit careful there, mainly the Germans. That we have enough to protect against 3 bombers. So we're going to buy the fighter to be on the safe side. I don't actually need the fighter as it is, because we're going to have plenty of forces there. But we're just going to be safe because I'm pumping these fighters in here to help stabilize the center of the board, anyways. I think this is the most fighters I've ever built in a game. I do have to say that. So maybe it wasn't the smartest move, because if all this air was ground and transports, who knows where I'd be at now. But anyways, we're going with it. I got to go because my time, again, I'm on like 30 minutes and my timer's going to run out. And I never quite trust those timers altogether. I would do 2 here. I'm really stretching my units all out, all across the board. That just, it would be pushing it, to be frankly honest. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Well, let's see, where are you going? You're going to go 1, 2, there. So we'll send you there. I'll go ahead and grab a little bit before we retreat back. I think that, hold on. Is that it? I think that's it for the Americans. Nice. Alright, so now Zone 3 is safe. Those guys going up there. I think I'll be able to sneak one more boat down here without having to have support. And you know what? We only got to protect against 1 bomber. Why don't we do this? you can do a 1-2 bomber, I suppose. But if he 1 bombers with Germany, then I can always shift UK down here and drop UK whatever I need to protect against a German bomber. That lets me get them back in 1 turn. I need to check my calculators over here. 28, okay. What do I need in Baltic? Did I have an extra man that I could have used? Thinking I may have. Not below Baltic. That's what we want. Huh. I think we had a bonus guy there. Got one there. So I got 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Moving 10 over is going to give me 28. 5 artillery. This is where the calculator is a must. and the saving them is a big deal too. Alright. Alright, I'm going to pause the video for a second while I think about the Navy here real quick, because I just want to make sure I don't goof up on a turn order issue here. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm going to just bring the destroyer down here. I'm going to carry up here. I'm building a fighter here. He's got 1 bomber versus battleship and then another time, but then it'll repair and then 1 bomber versus battleship. There's nothing more than that. And so I'll have a destroyer, or excuse me, 2 carriers and 1 fighter up here. And the Germans can only bring 1 bomber. Germans could throw like a stack on the Northwest Europe, which would then free up these bombers to go, so that he would have 4 bombers hitting there. But I'll have 2 carriers, a fighter, and then I can always move the UK Navy up, and that'll leave me, 3 destroyers and a cruiser with no transports here for his 4 fighters and a bomber of Japan that can attack him. So if he wants to attack 3 destroyers and a cruiser for no transports with his Japan Air, I think I would accept that. So I think that's how we're going to run it. I do think I want to switch back to fighter before carrier. Because even the 3 transports down here, you know what? I'm going to change that back. We're going to stick with carrier first. Alright. I think that's all the US guys going. I need to hurry up here. Oh, I'm going to be short 1 guy, since I can go ahead and put him on up there. I forgot about counting for the fact I wasn't building 2 fighters. Originally I was going to build 2 fighters. Oh well. I shouldn't have built 3 of these guys. Oh well. I need these artilleries for dead zoning, unfortunately. Although I know it'd be for pure defense, just doing infantry may be better, but my computer's getting laggy and I need to wrap this turn up so I don't time out. Come on. Twelve, 26, 28. 5 artillery, 3 tanks. Got 2 fighters with the 5, making 7 fighters, a bomber. These are my 3 artillery coming down with my 7 artillery. I need at least one more guy coming up here. We got our 10 fighters, 2 tanks, 3 artillery. Alright. Move one more over there just to be on the safe side. Alright, we're just going to call it there. We need to wrap it up. Whew, made it. My heart beats every time. I worried it was going to get the pop-up failure. Alright, so we are heading into UK 16. I ain't gonna lie, 16 rounds. This is actually a very long game because we still got a long ways to go in this game. This is probably gonna be my longest game I've ever played, to be frankly honest. You know, most of my games, I know by round 7-ish, 7, 8, 9-ish, I can pretty say this game's over one way or the other. I mean, it's gonna take some while till it plays out. This game's still up in the air, to be frankly honest, and we're in round 16, and we still got a while till one of us hits something. So this game is getting to be one of these games that I've seen other people post where the units just get, astronomically big and whatnot. But interesting nonetheless. I mean, it's fun. It's going to be tight. We got a battle going down here, and then we got a battle, and sitting in here, and then we got a battle. But at least we're starting to make maneuvers here. The Allies were starting to make maneuvers. I like my positioning. I should be able to hold Baltic from now into eternity, I hope. So that's the good news. But we're parked next to his capital now, and he's not there yet. So positive, we'll take it. Um, it's going to be getting tight pretty soon. He's going to be able to get into Novo, but we're going to buy as much time as we possibly can. He should not be able to do it into J16. I believe I calculated that out so that he cannot get into Novo J16. And then hopefully these units are going to be coming back. That'll prevent him from 17. So maybe 18, 19, somewhere in there. Maybe he'll be able to get into Novo or break the Kaza stack. But we're going to buy out as long a time and keep his forces split in two as much as possible. That's the other advantage I have. He's got a big fork in his pieces where most of my pieces are all interconnected. So, in any case, that's the plan. One thing I didn't show back in Japan's 15 because I was rushing and I didn't even notice it is, lo and behold, he sent a bomber to Russia and to UK, and you know what? He hit and he hit and he hit big and he hit big. So he still has not lost a bomber. So, for those keeping track, because you know I am keeping track, here we go. This is what the strategic bombing raids have been. Axis has sent 16 bombers for strategic bombing raids, has created 51 points of damage, and has not lost a single bomber yet. Allies, we have sent 2. We did 1 damage of 4, and we lost a bomber on the other time. Slightly affecting the game right here. So you expect a bomber to get hit 1 in every 6 runs, so that he should have had 2 2/3 of a bomber shot down by now. So that's 32 IPC he should have lost in bombers. Average damage is like 45 because he would have hit 13 1/3 times at 3.5. So average damage is like 45, 46. So he's done bonus of like 6 and avoided like 32. So that's like a 38 IPC swing right here. So that's 13, basically 13 infantry swing in the game just by this strategic bombing run luck that he's had there. That's painful. Another thing that I added into my my tracker here, and here's my round. So end of round 15. Round 15 was not a great round for me. Part of what you can see here is you can see where we kind of peaked, and we kind of leveled, and he's starting to creep up. Although my attack powers are still going up a little bit, and particularly the attack power, attack strength, I still gained some there. Although I lost a little defensive power and units. But what we're seeing here is the income level starting to level off as he's starting to eat into Africa and these strategic bombing raids. This is where he's been doing a lot of that bombing raids, starting to take its toll as well. And then there's some bad trades, whatnot. The interesting thing, I also started creating a casualty table of just how many of every unit Axis has lost in allies and per thing. And so here again, you can see our strategic bombing raid. Yay. But one of the things I talk about in KGFs, a lot of times I try to conserve my US units as much as possible, let UK do as much trading as possible, and then Russia just kind of hangs in there as much as possible. So we can see that we are achieving the goal that the US is doing the least of the trading. Still a little heavy than I'd like, and I'd like to see these numbers actually be higher and these numbers be lower, but it's just how the game's kind of played out. The really super interesting that I found is here we are 16 rounds into the game, and I just take a look at all the allies units, the total number of allies units. You come down here, I don't know if you're in the bottom right, you can see that's a 233. There has been 233 casualties for allies. Axis, 237. You want to talk about a balanced game? That's a balanced game. That he's had 233 versus 237 swing there, casualty. So all of that, 16 rounds, he's lost 4 more units than I have. I think that's pretty cool. In any case, so we had to deal with the bombing raid. So I do not have enough to build 8 units. I had to repair the stinking thing, and I could only build 7 units. I did want to go ahead and get 1 artillery, but otherwise I'm going to conserve because this bombing is for real. And I am starting to worry. He's been building a lot of ground infantry and artillery the last 5, 6, 7 rounds. And here I've been buying some planes and expensive units. And that starts to worry me. Generally, the one building the infantry and artillery, you're the ones that are sitting good. So um, I'm a little concerned about the fact that I did that. So I need to refocus on my purchases being focused on all ground, including my U.S. I need to start focusing them on as much ground units as I can. And next turn, we're going to have a lot of transports coming back. So, we're going to need to build a lot of ground. We actually have one too many transports next turn. So, so hopefully we can start shifting things over, but we can only build 7 this time because of the bombing raids as it is. Now, again, it is really pretty important that we take Northwest Europe, and all my UK air is down here because, well, I'm missing a bomber that I wish I had. I'm not bitter about these bombers at all, by the way. Um, so, but I really need to take it in order to keep this fleet safe from these bombers. It seems crazy. You got to take Northwest Europe to keep C Zone 3 safe from bombers sitting over in, was it Sinkang? Yeah. Um, but that's where we're at. Because if I don't take this with the UK, then Japan is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 bombers that can go there, and I'm going to have to make changes to my plans because I'll need to send more fleet up there to protect them, which is then going to expose my fleet here somewhat. So all that's to say, I am going to continue to take Northwest Europe, but I'm going to end up using 2 transports this time because he's got the 2 ground here. We still got 5, 6, 7 units here, so he's got 5 Germans, 5 um, Japan. But if either one of those attacks, I got American units I can bring in, and I can build UK units. So I feel pretty safe with that aspect, especially since it's only going to be 2 transports sitting in there. So 6-1 build, and that one artillery build was because of this. If there was only 1 unit in there, then I would just do that. But lo and behold, there's 2, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, this is what I'm hoping to create out of this turn is a Baltic Bellow double stack, and then I've got enough that I did do the calculation that Ukraine is now dead zone from a German move, and West Russia will be, these 2 will be dead zone from the Germans advancing at all. So I can advance and then advance, comfortably, so that hopefully I can hold Bellow and Baltic going forward. It's going to be a little thin this turn, and I'm not 100% sure how much it's going to affect me down here in Kaza. I didn't really calculate this out. He's got a lot of units kind of coming in here. It might get me short-handed here. I'm not 100% sure, but we're going to go ahead and do what we can. The one thing I am not going to do is take Caucasus with UK, and that's because now Japan's here. If I take this with the UK, it goes back to Russian, but then Japan goes next and retakes it, and Japan then gets 4 bonus IPC. I don't want to give Japan any more than they already get, and Japan's already getting too big, so we're going that way. I'm going to be putting my tanks into Bellow, assuming everything goes well, because then they're still threatening Berlin, even from Bellow, since we'll have Baltic stacked. So and I'm going to use one of my fighters and land him in the Baltics. And like I said, this is actually going to make this a little bit thin. It's still profitable for me and more favorable on my side. But if he's starting to feel desperate at all, which I would not if I was in his place, but if he's feeling desperate, then that's a potential attack to take because it's like a 35 to 50% chance of taking at a negative 6, 7, 8 IPC. That can swing with one die roll being a different way. So I'm a little nervous about this because he could choose to go ahead and knock this if he's starting to get frustrated with his Kaza stack and feels like he needs to. But I want to take both of these with UK if at all humanly possible. Because again, money. Theoretically, I mean, I could commit more just ground units and try and take that just straight ground. But let's see, we got 221, so that's 8, 11. Hopefully we can take that in one round of shots. Anything else? I think that's everything that we want to take. Yeah, I didn't count on you, Cruiser, this time. And you hit. Of course you hit when I didn't count on you. Well, didn't count on that either. So, whatever. All good. Trade down those Germans. Trade down those Germans. These are the more important battles. I want to take these with as little loss as possible. Ah, I wanted that in one shot. Dang it. Come on, clean him. 5, 5, 5. All right. Okay, one loss. That's what I was counting on, was losing one infantry on that. So I'm good with that. This is the one. It's only like a 65% chance of capture. I really want to capture this. I want some dice favoring me. Okay, okay. Dice favoring me. I can't complain because he missed 4 shots there, so I'm good. All right, I'm happy. I am happy. All right. First off, let's go ahead and grab. Oops! No, 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 no. Grab those. You guys are marching forward. I need to double check my numbers on where I need all my numbers. I got that calculated out. Meanwhile, do we got no Japan to worry about there? So we just got to figure out how many we got going where. Let's see, the Baltic, ultimately I need 28 here. We got, you know what? Regardless, it doesn't matter. I want the UK pushing forward first, and then any US we pull back, US is US we pull back. So there we go. That's it for the UK's. Bummer I can only build 7. Alright, here we go. This is getting rather complicated and giving me a little bit of a headache, but we got Japan building 14 infantry, a fighter and artillery. Sent 2 bombers to Russia. Guess how many got shot down? If you guess 0, you are the winner. He knocks out another 10 IPC on me. Ugh. Not bitter, not bitter, not bitter. I'm trying to make myself not be bitter. You can see, I mean, he did a lot of movement. So down here in Africa, he did make some progress pushing forward on these guys. He is giving Germany another infantry turn now, which kind of stinks, but at least I'm starting to shut down some more and trade some more up here, so yay. Yeah, so that's where we're at. He built another fighter, which means there's another plane on the board I got to keep track of. So he is now up to 10 fighters and 4 bombers. The one blessing is when he did his one bombing run he did from France, and I don't know if he was expecting one to die as well or he just lost track of the movement count. But he's got a bomber sitting there, which, of course, of all times, it's when I was planning on both my Russian fighters going this way so they can't reach over here, and I really need them to be able to hit both these targets. I'm going to get away with one fighter coming over, but unfortunately, I think Novo is more critical than Vologda, and the bomber's sitting there. Because if I don't get Novo, then he can stack Novo. Ah, actually, I want to pause 1 second. I'm going to double check one thing real quick. Yeah, so if I don't take Novo, then he can stack Novo. Even if I wipe this out, he'd still be able to stack it. I'm still going to have to try to attack that, though. I just cannot take a shot at the bomber. We're just not going to have great super odds, but they'll be on our favor, but we know how the dice on this game's been. So, in any case, I'll come back to that after the U.S. turn. We had 42 IPC. We're just going to build 14 infantry. Unfortunately, I really need 14 infantry over here because I got 6 for them, 8 for them to come back to, but we can only build 12 in West or in East USA. But at least we're getting 14 units on the ground, so yay. All right. Thing I wanted to check. Because I think I was 1 infantry short of what I really, really wanted to do. Hmm. Alright, let's see, that's 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they can all make it over to here. I feel like I should bomb something, but I'm just afraid to. I'm just flat out afraid to bomb. Plus, I want him to end down here so that he can help kind of. Ooh, can we hit down there in Africa? Oh, we can. So let's hit this guy. Reason being, if I can keep this in Allied territory, then he can't land fighters, and it'll be harder for him to land there, and I can hopefully dead zone that. If he kills my guy, then I'm going to have to retreat everybody into here, because he'll have enough with the fighters he could land into here, and then I got to back up, and I want to make sure I got my forces together as much as possible. Oh, I forgot about my bomber over here. What can he do? Nothing really. I didn't make a plan to come in here this turn, so that's not really an option, unfortunately. I believe that's all I got. And he's going to roll a 4. Ah, rats. That means I gotta waste the Russian infantry I was counting on. I'd rather him hit. I don't want this one to hit either. This one I want to take cleanly. Alright, that's... So, of the two that we really wanted, one went well, one did not. So, okay. Alright, let's see here. We want 5 fighters, or no, we want 4 fighters in here. One too many. And 29 infantry artillery. We got 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. And then into bellow, we want to make sure we got 4 tanks. Check. 5 fighters. 4 plus 1 Russian is a check. And then we want 20, oh wait, we're going with the Russian AA, and then 25 other units. So right now we got 3, 15, 20, and 5. All right. So he does have 3 German bombers that can reach up there this turn, so I want to get them up there. Eleven, 6, 1. That's 18. He can bring 8 and 8. He can have 16 guys there. And what did I just say? I'm going to have 17 and 1. Ooh, that's tight, isn't it? So, and he brings in 5, 3, 8, 16 dudes. Yeah, we're still in the positive there. Okay. I think that's everybody. Oh, this is painful. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because unfortunately, I'm depending on these 3 since I now don't have one for in there. Come on, Valagda. If I ever needed some dice to just go somewhat my way, that is the time I need the dice to go somewhat my way. Please. Uh, 38. Okay. I really need to take these 2 just to protect Moscow, too. poor. I don't think that's poor. Hold up. I mean, I know we all love the in-game battle calculator, but I feel like that should be about even because I should have. Yeah, that's a 58% chance I conquer at a 6 profit, so we're going with it. Okay, well, that means we at least hold Novo, so that's good. Come on, let's get that bomber. Let's get that bomber. Get that bomber. Get that bomber. 2 hits, first roll. Come on. Oh, 3 hits. Nice. Whiff. Ah. Oh, man. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot one of the things I was going to do. Oh, come on. Man. Well, I got to pause for a second here. I mean, this is, this is 14 IPC of units versus his 12. I mean, should I retreat this? I mean, ooh, I could retreat this and let the UK fighters hit him. Yeah, that actually worked out well, right? Because the UK is going to go, and I can let the fighters smoke the bomber. And I actually got all right, yeah, we're going to retreat this. That went really well. That I can't complain. What I forgot is I was going to strafe these guys too. I need to start strafing these guys marching through Szechuan. I'm hesitant to because strafes just tend to go wrong. I don't know how else to say it, but they just do. I need to leave one of those guys back though. There you go. The rest of these dudes I want going down that way. Got 10 down there, good. There we go. All right, that the Russian town round was a good round. Sorry, I said I was gonna look at this after the Americans' turn. I did build 3 Russian infantry, so at the end of the turn it should have been 331 to 329. So still even, but he's pulling in 95 income now, 73, 83 to my 91. So he's gotten the tilt on the income battle. So he now has, I have a slight attack power advantage. He has a slight income advantage, but I've got the positional advantage of being next to his capital, and he's not there yet. So I still think this game is in my favor, but it's still a toss-up. All right. Germany, 13 infantry. The good news is, as you can see, we pulled them back out of Ukraine. So we're going to be able to cut that off. The bad news is I want to stack Baltic, continue to stack Baltic, but to get enough there, it's going to put me really thin at trying to dead zone Ukraine to prevent him from just going right back over there. I think we're going to do it, or we're at least going to make him have to think about it before he does it. But again, we're going to have some fleet issues. So, real quick, the combats. He killed 5 units. He lost 2. So, 50-50 split, so to speak, as far as I'm concerned there. So, thankfully, I only had to repair 1. I am going to go ahead and buy another fighter. I know. I said I wasn't going to buy more air, but I'm buying more air. And that's going to give me 7 infantry, leaving me 2 extras, because again, I do want to save some money because we're going to start losing some here. Hopefully we're going to get a little bit of lucky odds in here, and maybe we'll capture 1 or 2 of these trying to trade, and it won't be as bad. But we shall see. Alright, so let's go with it. I'm going to go ahead and take that guy out. Wait, no, I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to do. What do I want to do? Because I still want to hit this guy. I was debating on moving and shifting and taking Morocco and down here and trying to distract some of his Japan units. But again, it makes it awkward leaving here. That's why I'm building a fighter for 1 to help start getting UK a little bit more into self-dependent. But I think I want to do that. If we don't win it, it's not the end of the world, and I can chuck some more people up this way instead. But it's 1 less fighter coming and helping out here. So I got 4 fighters here. And I think I'm kind of leaning towards, call me crazy, doing this. Because I really could use some luck. On the number of units. But I got these. I think I'm going to take a shot at that. Although with him going that way, I don't have him for backup because I really can't lose a fighter for defending down here. Yeah, it might not be the best idea either. Dang it. What if we do this? I think we're going to try that. I think we're going to see how that works out. I'm not really able to, I'm not seeing what I want to see here totally, but we're just going to, we're going to go with it. I'd like to see us get some decent dice. We're due for some dice. Oh, I think that's twice in a row cruisers hit maybe. There we go. Nice. Now here's the bonus IPC we'd like K to get. Not that one. May have done that wrong, but oh well. We're going to move all our UK in here just in case I need to abandon that after all. Oh, don't want to forget those guys. I think that is it. All right, yep. Sorry, I have to think a lot on this game now. A lot of interesting components here. I still feel that I'm in a better positional advantage with being right next to his capital and hopefully being able to keep all of this dead zone and keep it shrinking in Germany. I mean, it's going to be a beast to kill out his final set here, but I feel like we can continue to put pressure there, and if we can continue to keep them split here and just occupy them down here, we can last this out. So, we'll see.
Okay, so this game is definitely an interesting game. Um, I, I, a turn ago, I was feeling slightly comfortable. I wouldn't say comfortable at all. Slightly comfortable. This turn, I'm feeling slightly uncomfortable, and I'll get into that a little bit. I'm not really sure where this game's going to end up. It's an interesting game. This is definitely one of my longest. It's going to be one of my more epic games. But considering that round one, I mean, anybody who doesn't remember, go back to round one and the fact that Ukraine was such a fail that I didn't even kill his bomber. You know, he had his bomber, his tank, his fighter. I think he had an artillery still live too, maybe. Um, and then a couple other early battles. The fact that we're in this is a positive thing, but it's getting hairy. I ain't gonna lie. So, a couple thoughts going into first. Well, first off, you'll never guess what he did. Yeah, he did a bombing raid and won again. So, yep, he bombed UK and hit it for 5 IPC. No bomber shot down. Otherwise, you can see he started making a little more progress into Africa. And like I said, right now my goal with America is not to win Africa, which sounds bad because we know Africa is kind of the pivoting point as far as income. And eventually I want to win Africa. But right now, my goal is to make him commit more units to Africa than I commit for him to take Africa. And right now I've got 17 in there. He's got what 3, 6, 9, 11. What's that? 15. I guess if you throw him in, 16 ground units that have gone to Africa, and I'm going to bring 6 more in. He's going to bring 8 more in, and hopefully I can just create enough of a headache that he's spending a little bit more down here than I'm spending down here, so that I'm making a little bit more progress up here than he's making over here. It's questionable. I ain't gonna lie. Uh, so I'm gonna get my U.S. turn going here. My Russian turn, as you're gonna see, is gonna be very dependent on what the U.S. turn happens in the U.S. turn. So I'm going to end up pausing because I was going to make a quick shift in the video when I go from U.S. to Russia. I'm also going to check out, do an update. Hopefully, if I remember, look at the Excel sheet and the games war report for you guys as well. So, I mean, I already know what they're going to show. I know it's going to show it's shifting more and more towards Axis favored as far as those statistics go. The good news is these are all UK, and he's not going to be able to trade any of these three anytime soon. So UK is getting a little supplemental income from the fact that we're losing Africa. And then I slight misplay by myself. I should have left a couple UK troops in here to be able to trade this next turn. I just wasn't really sure that I was going to have enough to be able to do what I wanted to do, which is make sure I had enough units in Bello, enough American units to dead zone Ukraine from the possible of a 12-6, bring the tanks back, and then land the Japan Air in there. I realized after the fact that, that would be a poor move by him, because if he brought all that air in, then I would shift back out of here with my UK troops and then bring everything in here, and I would have this dead zoned immediately. And then Germany would have to pull out, or Japan Air would have to pull out when I moved to Ukraine, which would make those German units toast. Otherwise, um, Germany then has to pull out, and UK will be able to wipe out the Japan Air that's still sitting there because of the whole turnover bit. So it would not really be a good idea for him to come back. So to me, I did not need to worry about dead zoning this from German plus Japan. I just need to dead zone this from German and maybe a sprinkling of Japan Air, which makes holding the Baltic a little bit easier. I should be able to hold the Baltic pretty well for a while. The biggest concern is going to be when he brings all of these back in one turn, bringing all 37, 43, 46 units back in one turn. I'm not going to be able to match that. The positive part that I can say, plus a build of 10, of course, is that he's not moving France back next turn. And the reason I know that is because he's got Japan Air sitting in here. He's not going to move when the Japan Air vacate France. That's when I know Germany's getting ready to pull back, because Germany doesn't want to pull back before then, or else UK will kill his Japan Air. So this is that turnover bit that gets a little interesting, starts to play a role here. I am thinking about possibly taking one of those cheap shots, if I can count on my cruiser, on France to see if we can knock out an AA before it moves back to Germany. I'll keep that in the back of my mind. It's always kind of nice, if the cruiser hits, it can be worth two infantry to knock out the AA for future attacks. I have become more of a fan of that. Okay, so the other interesting part that is not always picked up. I mean, I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to trade what I can down here at low cost if the trade fails and the trades fail. I am going to get my bombers, my 2 American bombers back in Kaza, because I am still going to be able to hold Kaza, or I believe, still hold Kaza and Dead Zone Novo as long as I win that. So he's pulled his fighters and everything out. His Navy's 3 away. So if I get 2 bombers here, 2 American bombers here, then he's going to have to pull back two air, 2 fighters, or build, most likely he'll build at least 1 fighter and pull 1 back maybe. But anyways, it'll pull his air back. But the other part of this is it is now time for me to build a U.S. transport, because everything is over that way so far. And he's going to, with my bomber coming back, he's going to have to keep his C-Zone 61 protected. So he's not going to be able to move him back. So I build my transport. He'll come back into here, and maybe he flies a bomber out to one of these islands or something. But I'll be able to take Hawaii at the very least. and then he could maybe kill my transports if he wants to disrupt one of his bombers, pull one of his bombers away. So be it, but he's not going to have the transport around to come and take it, and I can always build a sub next turn maybe and make it, to where it'll get challenging for him to get Hawaii back, or at least be a headache for him at the very least, and challenge him a little bit. So we're going to build 8 infantry, 2 artillery for our shucking, which should get back in track. We're going to have to leave one of these transports because we are one transport load short of our build last time, um, just because we ran out of production spaces primarily, and money, I guess. Um, but the 10 units will get my 2 here and 8 coming, 8 built for the 3 plus the 1 that's going to be left behind to come back to next turn. So here we go. Um, some people may not like the move I'm getting ready to make. I don't know. Haven't decided if I like it yet or not. Probably depends on how it goes. But I am going to take one of these tanks and 4 of these fighters coming over here. So, I mean, the reality is even with Japan splitting their forces, Russia's not going to be able to handle this Japan by themselves. Um, so they're going to need a little bit of support. So I am actually going to work on bringing a trickle of units back because I still got a while till I'm going to actually really have an attack on Berlin. So I'm going to work on a trickle coming back. Now, generally, trading with Japan, I'd rather U.S. units do it because then if the U.S. takes it, Russia will get the income. If the U.K. comes in and helps, they can kill the units, but then Japan will take it back and get the income. So, generally speaking, I prefer it to be Americans lightly trading with Japan to help Russia out. So, so yes, I'm going to throw a tank in here, but also at this point, the tanks don't have quite as much value. I mean, I want to take advantage of its movement ability and hit this strike so that hopefully Russia can focus on these guys. I need one of these air fighters coming up, and that's what I had to be careful because I'm going to need to shoot one of these fighters down to help support the fleet shifting around. We're going to give them Germans a slight, like 60-something% chance at wiping the UK fleet here, but that's why we backed it down to just one transport there. We'll see if he takes it. I don't know. I doubt he will, but I also want to give him plenty of targets for his Air Force to go at. I also don't want him to bomb anymore at UK. So UK's down 5, right? And we got 29. So I could repair that and still build 8 infantry if he doesn't bomb him with Germany. So I want to try to give Germany targets. We're going to hopefully have at least 2 land targets, but he's got 5 air, so he may go 2-2 and throw a bomber in there. And Lord knows we're not actually going to shoot the bomber down. So um, that my only possibility there is the fact that he hasn't bombed much with Germany. I know he knows the value of these bombers in dead zoning my fleet as well as with his trading. So hopefully he'll be a little timid in doing that. So this guy's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can still get him down there, which is where I want him to end. Uh, I'm gonna overcommit. I mean, it's not really overcommit. Instead of the 50-50, going slightly more because I'd like for him to have to continue to do a double transport to the southern tip here. That way he can only pull 3 or 6 units from here into the front, because this guy will have to go 1, grab these guys, and come back if he wants to trade it again. So going a slightly better advantage there. We're just going to try the 50-50 shot, and if I don't believe I can dead zone this anyways. And actually, I'm going to pause real fast to see if I sent another one in one that can I dead zone it. But I'm almost positive I cannot dead zone this. So that next turn, you know, he's going to be, I can just talk it out. So he's going to be able to pull 8 units, 6 from India. He's be able to pull him. I pulled 2 from there. So he's going to be able to put 8 plus this 6 is 14. 17, 18, even if I have it under control, he's going to have at least 18 units there. And I'm going to have 7, 11, and my 2 bombs. Yeah, so I can't dead zone that. So I'm not going to. I mean, should I even bother with. Let's see, how much air does he have hitting here? I almost think it's better to keep these guys alive. Eight. 13. Let's see, he's got 5 fighters in the area. Other fighters can't reach down here. What about bombers? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That bomber can hit me. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that bomber can hit both. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I don't think this bomber can. Yeah, so 2 of his bombers and 5 of his fighters, so that's 7 air. And then he's going to have a whole crud load of people there. Man. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to leave too many here, him stack here, and I'm not able to restack here. I mean, I'm going to have 6 more units coming down this way. And I mean, I guess I'll have the transports there that I could evacuate them back if I need to. But they're going to be more valuable in defense now than they are going to be attacking, because even if I attack and win this, I'm still not going to be able to dead zone it. So I think we're just going to have to let him stack there. Although, on another hand, he's got too many artilleries versus his infantry. Well, he's going to be bringing all the infantry in, so that won't matter. Yeah, I think I'm going to save them for a more powerful punch with my bombers, and whatever we can do. Let's see. I guess I can send one of these guys, and actually this guy can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's take that bomber instead, and just make sure we get that hit there. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he can go down. Okay. Something just doesn't feel right. Oh, what do I got here? I got 2 fighters. Okay, yeah, those are the fighters that are coming back. Okay, whew. I thought I had this all worked out ahead of time. Obviously, my mind's changing gears as I see things. All right, here we go. Strong, strong, strong. Unlikely. What's unlikely? Oh, that's fine. Swipe them. No hitbacks. Okay, so the bomber was not needed, as it turns out. Yes, no hitbacks. All right. Whew. Now the Russians don't have to worry about that at all. Most important's a hit. Taking it's a bonus. There we go. That's the key part. Taking it's a bonus. We'll take the bonus. Alright, this is a must take. I guess not must take, but really should take. Alright, a 2 take, that's nice. That'll make him want to commit at least 2 planes, if not 3 planes, just to help clear that better. Alright, this is a need to kill. Bonus to take. Ah. Thank you. Alright, bonus. This next one's we really want to take this next one. Make them commit more down this way. Boom. Ah! I won. Okay, thank you. Oh, 2! Dang it. Urgh. No! I guess I should have listened to their unlikely. I guess they knew what dice were coming. Right, okay, so I know these guys gotta come here. This guy's coming down here. We're gonna leave 1 destroyer back with these guys, so that gives me 5. He's got 5 German air. I don't think he wants to take that. I mean, it's 3 bombers, 2 fighters, so he definitely has advantage, but I don't think he wants to take that. I think he's going to want to use his air, but he does have some pretty good stacks that he could shift around instead. But anyways, I think with all that said, I am going to put 1 down here to make him have to trade it at least. I hadn't really thought about that. I was just going to land them back here, but I don't really need to land them back here. I could put them in Moscow or Kaza for defense. I got to think about that a little bit. That could help dead zone as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I don't know if it'll be a dead zone since I didn't go ahead and kill them. I didn't even think about that. I should have been thinking about that. All right, we'll come back to think about that in just a minute. Let's finish the base moves first. We got to figure out where we want to put these guys, because he's now got 3 air, 5 bomber, or 5 fighters, and 2 bombers we said that can hit here. So I got to figure out what that means. I am going to bring my artillery back. So 28, 38, 41. I need at least that going to stack there. Alright, so the last things that I'm going to... Oh, need to move them up. And we need to pull back 1 up there. So, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to think about this because I need to think about it in the context of Russia's turn and what it means with dead zoning and stacking, especially with the fact that I wasn't thinking about putting these American fighters down here, so um, that's a very strong possibility. I don't need them to attack. I just need them to be able to hit these guys and or get back over there. So I don't see any downside to putting them there. I'll need to check if I maybe need them here just to protect Moscow. But yeah, this is one of those games that I feel better after my turn than before my turn. Because now I'm like, okay, we got a nice taking control of some spots down here. All right, I'm going to pause for a minute. All right. Now, I know it's screen just shifted and whatnot, but I've done some crunching and thinking and planning, and it's going to get a little bit interesting. I did need to go ahead and move my 2 tanks for one. I am going to go ahead. I don't need them in the Baltic this turn, and I'm not really threatening Berlin, to be real. So I'm going to put them here because I don't need them in Moscow either. So this allows them to get to Baltic next turn if I need them for defense, but it also lets me use them uh, possibly here, or possibly to get over back around down to the dead zoning, or whatever. Um, that said, I do think I want to send a couple guys that way, a couple guys this way. I really probably should sit down and calculate what if he brings in the 12-6, builds 10, and these 3, 15 to keep Baltic stacked. I'm being lazy. It may be a bad thing, but I'm gonna have 6 American U.S. fighters, 7, 8 that I could bring in. Plus, I'm gonna have the 13 guys here, plus the 12 guys here. So it just feels like I'm gonna be able to bring in like 30 units. He'll be able to bring in like 30 units, and I feel like I should still have it. That's what I get for feeling and not actually calculating that out, though. We'll see. Hopefully I don't get anything for that. Hopefully I'm all good there. Oh, I forgot about these guys down here. What do I need down here real quick? So the bigger thing is this one's got the most threat on it. So what do we need there? We need... He can have 3 infantry, 5 fighters, and a partridge, and a pear tree. 3 bombers, or no, we said 2 bombers can reach there. 2 bombers can reach there. And if we leave it as is, what's that look like? That looks like him winning, but is it profitable for him to win that way? It is. That's a no go, no bueno. Yeah, we'd have to move a pretty heavy stack down there to... Yeah, we'd have to have at least that to make it not profitable for him. That would give me 9 units. I can bail out 6 and 3 of them down. 1 here, a couple there. Bring the rest in. Let's see, otherwise we're going to have 9, 10, 13, 19 units we'll have here. If he brings everything in. So we're going to have 19 there eventually. We're just going to assume he'll keep his 5 fighters and 3rd bomber become available. He does 5, 6, 6. Plus an extra 8 infantry. Yeah, he would dead zone the heck out of that. He's going to dead zone the bejesus out of that next turn. I guess we just have to use our destroyer, our transport here as taking these 2 back and give this guy up, because I just don't see how I don't want to get them stuck down here and let him split me in two. I mean, even unfortunately, even leaving one here. Ugh, I hate this. All right, well, I think we got to, and we'll just use a transport next time to come down here and retake that, because I'm getting to the point where I don't know that we're going to be transporting more units. I think this is what we're going to hold out, what we can hold out, but he's going to land here, J18, take these guys, J19 moving into there, and then I'm going to be looking at a big wipe on J20 down here. So US 17, US 18, I can pull them out to here. US 19, I can pull some more out. So we'll be able to pull out 12 of them and then let them finish off the rest. Ugh, I hate seeing that. We'll have to see if we can pull these fighters into it. Anyways, that's a yucky situation. Because I just can't commit more to it right now. We gotta push this. Alright, let's double check everything. So we got 2 fighters coming back. 2 carriers versus 3 bombers. We're accepting that risk right now. Alright, I think we're good. The Americans OLED, let's double check this. We have, how many? We got 28, 42. More artillery. 3 fighters. Be bringing in the AA. Alright, we're going to go with this. A little disappointed on this down here, but that 4 transport load is a lot. Which is unfortunate too, because I mean, really, he's got, you know, 1 more load of 8, and then he's going to be inefficient with his transports. But yeah, whatever. Moving on. He doesn't seem too intent on doing straight bomb air raids over there, so I might as well put the artilleries up that way. Alright. Alright, so we're going to repair 2 here. And I am going to build another artillery. I know I don't normally build this many artillery with Russia. Normally I'm not in this position where I'm trying to dead zone so heavily, but I really just want to dead zone real heavily, so it is what it is. Depending on what happens here, I'm playing with some ideas. One of those being possibly throwing an AA and like 3 or 4 Russian infantry in Caucasus to make it awkward for him to take with Japan. I mean, he still technically takes it with IPC value, but he's going to have to risk his air. And I feel like my AA are. This is the round of 18. Round of 18 is the round of the AA for the Allies, including the industrial AAs. We're going to shoot down some bombers this round. So I'm leaning towards giving that a shot. I don't know for sure yet if I'll do that or not. I am going to oversend this a little bit. That gives me a 90% chance to take, because it's really important that I do take that still. Possibly into the point of sacrificing the fighter if it comes to it, which again, I shouldn't even say that because I don't want that to be the case, obviously. Oh yeah. So, should we do it? I think we're gonna do it this time. Make him think a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and attempt this strafe. Let's see, what's a good shot? I am not a strafe person at all, in case y'all hadn't noticed. But that being said, an infantry here, an infantry there is gonna be difficult. So his average is gonna be hitting 2. So I want to at least average where I'm gonna get a 3 hit, but I don't want to take it. So a 3 hit would be 18 attack power. I want to send as few of units because if I do take it, I want to have as few of units in there as possible. So if we send 1, 2, 1, 2, that's an 8. Let's see, 10, 12. So I don't get to 18. 14, 16. Is that right? That feels weird. That feels awkward. So that's an 18 attack power. All right, I don't I don't trust my manual math. It just feels 10 units just feels risky to me. All right, one round. One round will look like, and it comes to. All right, here we go. For anybody who's a strafing expert, you can tell me there's a better way to do this. I mean, the better way would be use my fighters, but I want my fighters in those other battles, so it's not really an option. So this looks like I've only got a 4.5% chance that I take it on one round. So I did one round of shots, and I'll average hitting 3, and he hits 2, so a profit of 3. So I'm gonna go that route. I'm gonna give it a try. See what happens. If it fails, I blame all you guys that like to strafe. I'm just kidding. All right. This is the most important of all the battles right there. It's not what I wanted to see. Ah, whew. Just breathing. Just made it. Dang it. That one's not worth sacrificing the plane for. Alright, one round. I feel like I'm pulling on a slot machine or something here. I'd love to see 4 hits. 4 hits, 4 hits, 4 hits, 4 hits. 3. No hits, no hits, no hits. 2. Alright, well, I guess we can't ask for much more expected than that, right? I do want to retreat. I do not want to follow through with it. I'm not risking a double on that. Right? Let me. Am I pulling out too quick? My calculator just went small on me. Hold on. I don't think it's worth the risk of another one round. Yeah, no, 50% chance I win. All right, we're retreating. So, yay for an infantry shift.
Alright, so does that mean I need in my Kaza 26 infantry, 10 artillery? We got it. We want fighters down here. We got it. That AA to help those guys. And that one surviving, that throws off my plan for here, because that's going to be one more that could come here. Well, let's pull out the good old calculator again real quick here. So he has 1 infantry, 2 tanks. He's got 1. He can't reach. He can't reach. So I got five fighters, 3 bombers I got to worry about. What do I need? So I'll be able to move 1 artillery in there from the UK. Do we need to have in there to be comfortable? We need really at least 12, 13 Russians. We're dropping 5, so I can move some. So that's not an issue. We can move them. So now the next question is, what's it going to take to dead zone now that he has an extra infantry from what I was planning slash hoping on. So he'll have 41 infantry, 7 artillery, 2 tanks I can get there. I need to be comfortable my 12 artillery, which I'm going to have. I need my 2 tanks, 2 fighters, and 40 infantry. We're building 4, right? So we're building 4 there. 26 is 30. 40, so I can only move 1 infantry there. Yeah, dang it. And I'm not going to put the AA just with the tank, because he could just do the 4 infantry versus that and take that risk, right? Let's look at what a 1 infantry, 1 AA, 1 tank versus 4 infantry looks like. So he would need to, yeah, he'd need to throw 1 plane into the mix. So if he throws a bomber in there, that will mean like 80% success and 4% profit, 4 points profit for him, counting the AA. So I think we leave the AA where it's at for this turn. But we can move some of these guys down this way. Said I want to have like 13 to be safe up there, I think. We're building 5. Let's leave 9 up there. That way we can have a little bit more of a, what is that? We'll have 41, 43, 45 units. Still not enough to push him off of here, but make him maybe keep a few more and make him think a little bit more about what he puts through this direction. Alright. You know what? I'm going to leave 1 less infantry. It's just not worth it, right? Why risk something we don't need to risk? Alright. Oh, shoot. I got my war report again. Hold up. Dang it. See, I get going on all this stuff. So here we go. So last time we had the slight lead. Now they have the slight lead because I haven't placed my
Russian units, it still counts it. Um, so I've got 18, 47, 90 to his 98, so a slight more shift for him there. Although this is going to go down slightly next turn at least, so slight positive there. So as long as things continue as they're going and these bombing raids continue to be successful, I'm in a little bit of trouble. It looks like, although I still like my position on the board better. So hopefully that balances off that difference there as it is. And then as far as my spreadsheet goes, for those keeping track, bombing raids, they have now sent 19 with 66 damage and no bombers lost. Not that I'm keeping track. And then on the big table, the total unit count, as we can see the shift in the income. We can see it happening. Um, I still got a slight lead there. IPC value starting to switch around. Everything's starting to switch back again towards Axis favor here at this point in the game. So I definitely need to be making plans to make my move before this gets too heavily shifted back to this kind of stats. So, and again, I still feel somewhat comfortable in that they're a little bit more split, that the units aren't as consolidated except around Europe. So, in any case, so that's where we stand now. Still at an advantage from where we started, but it is definitely evaporating at this point. Those bombing raids certainly have been problematic for me. All right, that'll be. All right, so I got some bad news followed by some good news. The bad news is he did go ahead and move everything in essentially into Berlin here, into Germany. So that puts a pretty hefty stack here where he's got 69, 9, 11 tanks plus his 5 air there. Up from like he had like 30 some infantry here last time. So that's a big jump. The good news is I've already got 42, 46. I got another 10 and 13 that can come in there. Plus, because I overstack Kaza, I can fly 3 of these UK fighters right on over to there. So we are still able to keep Baltic stacked against the mass insurgents here. So that puts him in a kind of an interesting position here. This France is, I'm keeping my eye on this because right now I've got 10 U.S. transports that could be fully loaded coming in there now. Granted, 12 here, 12 infantry, and then these guys can bring in 4 artillery at least. And then I've got these 2 fighters tucked in there. I got 2 fighters up there and a fighter down here. So 5 fighters, the cruiser, the battleship, and if UK takes Northwest Europe, these 2 bombers can reach it and land there as well. So that, and I did the crunch, and that leaves a profitable battle if he doesn't move any of the Japan planes in. And I forget what it came to. Basically, to make it a non-profitable battle for the U.S., I think he needs to fly in like 3 Japan fighters is what it would take. I'm just double checking. I'm looking back at my calculator here real quick. But yeah, no, I mean 3 fighters, actually even 3 fighters wouldn't do it. He needs a plan on 4 fighters coming in there to make it a non-profitable battle. Now it's not that I would clear it. I would be losing air, but I would also be taking out a lot of his air. So, but it means he's got to be flying some planes in there, because if he doesn't fly some in there, then it is going to be a positive for me. So I got to figure some of these fighters down here are coming up to France,
which is going to make the whole bit next turn. I'm probably going to have to exit trading Northwest Europe because there's just going to be a lot of Japan Air. Plus, he moved his 3 bombers out to France, so I got to adjust my American stacks of fleet. So I got a feeling I'm probably going to have this is going to be the last time I get to hit Northwest Europe. So I'm going to go ahead and do that instead of coming down to Morocco again. I mean, I was debating on coming on down to Morocco, but I think we're going to hold off on that so that we can go ahead and hit Northwest Europe one last time and put that threat there where maybe we could do some damage there if he doesn't fly enough Japan fighters in. Of course, that train of thought does lead to um, the U.S. shucking getting out of whack. But maybe that's not a bad thing. I think we're done shucking to Alaska, Africa, regardless. So, all right. So in any case, he did not bomb the UK, thankfully. So we still were able to. I forgot. So he backed down to 11 purchases, so that's good. 10 infantry and artillery. Um, he took Ukraine 1 for 1. Poland 2 for 2, didn't take it, and in Northwest Europe he killed 2 with no losses. So overall, um, he had 3 losses to killing 5 of my units, so a little more in my favor, especially since he did not take the territory here in Poland too, so he did not get that money. So that was a good turn for not Germany, which would be me. So we were able to build uh, Crew 5, which just lets me build 8 infantry. Downside is we are looking at only 23 income right now with the UK. So if he does do a bombing run with the Japanese up here, because we failed South Africa there, we didn't get those 2, and we're losing ground in here. And I didn't move enough over here, so I am going to try to take Ukraine and hopefully get that bonus too, and get the 2 from Northwest Europe to give me a few points of buffer for UK. These guys got nothing better to do. Might as well make sure we hit them, at the very least. Hopefully no hitbacks, because I could use that money for the UK a little more so than the US needs it, I think. I believe that is it. So, yeah, that's it. Oh no, 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 no. That's 3 times in a row the cruisers hit. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to change my stance on cruisers. Oh, but not fighters. There we go. Oh my goodness. I may have to stop dogging on the cruiser so much. That's 3 in a row that he's hit. I wonder if we get 4 hits in a row, can we upgrade him to a battleship? Oh my goodness, I am glad I sent all 7 planes. Ah, I would have liked to have had that money. Alright, well. like I said, it's the AA guns are alive this round in the factory, so if they try to bomb London, they'll pay for it. So I need 4 back here. The rest can come on up to here. These guys are going to go on into there. Learn from our lesson. We're going to bring them to there because we got enough going on that we don't need to put them in Baltic. I feel pretty good about how all my timing up here went with the shift and move, and yeah, and it seems like it's got him a little bit wound up uh, in his bit. So I'm pretty happy how this all turned out here. So that's a nice positive there. And no, those 4 fighters are not traitors. They are in Kazakh. All right, there we go. Okay, so as usual, I got some updates. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. Um, the biggest bad news is I believe I double counted these 10 guys in my Baltic stack. So I do not have as strong of a Baltic stack as I may have thought I had, which is calling for some audibling. I think, I mean, I've got it covered, but certainly the rest isn't playing out exactly like I had wanted or planned, per se. So that's bad news number 1. Bad news number 2 is I cannot dead zone Novo this time with Russia's 19. So J19, he is going to be able to move into Novo finally. Most likely. I'm still going to buy artillery to really discourage him. This is going to be a really good, this Baltic and Nova is going to be a really good test of getting a feel of where he feels he's at in this game. At this point, I'm starting to get concerned. I think he's got an advantage, and I'm now at a point where I'm going to need dice to help me a little bit if nothing else changes. So I'm getting to that point where I've got to start allowing riskier options. The question is he going to be aggressive and allow me to take a relatively risky option or not? So to explain it, we can go to the Baltic first here. I'm going to pull up the calculator here. This is what I'm going to offer him. This one I'm not as concerned about. Um, Basically, I'm giving him a 60% chance to wipe me out at essentially a even profit. I mean, you can't be much more even than that. So odds are in his favor he wipes me out, but again, we're the aggressor, and he really wants to have a better exchange than that, to put it bluntly. Um, in addition, you can see this is going to last 5 rounds. You know, the first round is going to cost what, a negative 20 IPC for him. And the reality is, this doesn't flip over until the 5th round. So, you know, even if you go 3 rounds into it, so he's got a negative 26 at 3 rounds into it. So really, he's got to be willing to roll the dice literally for 5 rounds to get to that point where it's even Steven. I'm even at that point. I'm tempted to take one little watch what one little infantry does. All of a sudden, it's a positive. Now he's up to a 64%. It's a positive 14 or 13 IPC for him. And I hadn't actually run this yet because I really want that one infantry, one sinking infantry. But again, yeah, so he has to be willing to try to plug through a lot of negative IPC rounds. I don't. Again, I imagine it's not until the fifth round that he draws profit. Yeah, fourth round breaking even. So he's got to be willing to. But right now, I think I'm not quite ready to throw that up there yet. I think a lot of people they they see how positive that 54 was, and they're gonna, oops, on the full battle, sorry, and they're gonna jump on it. So I mean that one little infantry change makes a big difference. So now we go to the Novo dead zone. If I build 3 artillery, oh nope, that's not right. This one. If I build 3 artillery, it gives me a 50% chance to clear him, but at a negative 16.5 advantage. Now the difference is on this one, he's going into it with the better uh, power stats. I'm going into it with the unit count. So this one it starts smaller negative and builds up, whereas his battle he has to risk a whole lot and trust that it's going to come down and he's going to eat into my fighters because I had a much bigger defensive power. He had the number of units. So it's kind of a flip. It's a different thought. It's a different risk. So for me, I'm basically risking 3 infantry to take a 1 round shot and just see what happens. He doesn't have any AA, so hey, maybe that's worth seeing what the dice pull out. I don't know. We'll see. I've got some other plans too, but if I don't do the artillery, if I do just pure infantry and save because of the bombing runs, which in the long run may be the smarter way, to be perfectly honest, and maybe this is a mistake, but then his attempt at going in there, it drops below 50% chance of winning. The negativity goes up significantly, and so I don't think he hesitates to stack Novo with those artillery. Maybe he pauses a second if he thinks he's in a good position right now. So that's the main part, right? The two capital stacks. The other aspect I've done is I went and added up, what if everything went into attack mode next round? He's got 129 units total that he can defend Berlin with. I have 106 multinational to attack with. So the reality is I need to flip this another 40 to 50 units positive on my side before I'm even going to have a chance of cracking that. His income is down to where he's building 10 on average. So I'm going to say he averages building 10 units a turn. Meanwhile, yes, he bombed, and yes, he did not get shot down. And so, yes, UK is really going to start struggling. Hopefully, we're going to start switching that around a little bit too. But we're going to say we're averaging, I'm going to be optimistic and say, except for this round, we're going to average 7 units built a turn for UK. US, we're building 2 plus the 3.5 transports worth. So that's 7, 9 units a turn. His 7 is 16 to his 10, so I'm averaging 5 to 6 positive. So, I mean, we're talking about 8 to maybe 10 rounds until I legitimately have a shot at Berlin. So we're talking about round 26, 27, 28, and that's just me throwing guess numbers in the wind. I don't know that Russia, and that's U.S. and U.K. not helping out Russia, right? So I don't know that Russia can hold out 8 rounds, 9 rounds. I mean, they got to hold out one less round, maybe 2 less rounds before we take Germany. Um, I don't know that they can do it. we'll see. So that brings us back to the area that's really shifted the game is when Japan was able to break through India and then start shifting this income over to them. And now they've had a positive income advantage and those bombing rates. I mean, the bombing rates have been big. But here is my strategy. If you notice, his supply line now is rather restricted. He's going to want to use these two to retake Caucasus because, I mean, that's a 4 IPC spot, right? So really, his supply line is 3 infantry at this point. And, you know, he's got 21 down here. I've got 19 down here. So he's got advantage. What I want to do is I want to draw this stack into Africa, and or I want to make him bring a transport or two down here to take South Africa. So I'm going to use 2 transports. I've only got 2 units I'm building to come down to Africa this turn. I could divert, well, because of my adaptation I can't divert. I've got 2 units coming down to Africa being built this turn to come back down next turn, potentially. Um, we'll talk more about that. So if I send 4 units down here and I kill this guy with 2, then he's only going to have 2. He's got all this air. I mean, he can wipe it certainly, but he's going to want to transport at least 1 transport down here to make it a 4v4 plus his air. And that brings his air down to 1, 2, 3, 4, where it's landing in one of these 2 spots where 1, 2, 3, 4, it can't reach Berlin. Not that he needs it to reach Berlin next turn, so that's not really that big of a deal. But also 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not putting pressure on Moscow, which we can use every little bit of pressure off as we can. So if I can just draw 1, or I can draw his stack to come in here as I retreat back, then he's going to have these 3 infantry he moves over, and from there he'll be building 3. I'm going to sneak this 1 UK tank or US tank into Moscow, where the next turn we'll be able to take that tank and 2 bombers and, you know, well, that's probably what it's going to be, to try to take Persia, as well as I'll have 1 infantry and 1 tank left here to take Caucasus after whatever he does. So that will leave me then 2 tanks, 2 fighters to strike at 3 infantry, presumably if he builds it, to try to take India. Fighters can come back and land in Caucasus as we abandon Kazakh, because he's going to have that stack. And then, presumably, hopefully we have 1 Russian tank sitting here. We're going to have 7 UK fighters and a UK build before Japan would get its turn. And if all his units are pulled away, that he can't pull them back, then what's he going to attack me with? And so then I'm going to have another turn to build before they come back. And, you know, then, you know, whatever it turns out to be, it means it's going to be a headache as he's going to have to pull out of Africa some. The U.S. can hopefully turn the offensive a little bit, and he's just going to have to deal with this one way or the other. Now, after his Novo stack, he's then going to come to here, so these units are going to be doomed, but maybe they can come down into the peninsula. Anything I can do to draw Japan units this direction, even if my guys end up ultimately getting killed, the fighters won't, right? The fighters will fly back. If I can create headaches down here, then fantastic. So that's what we're going to be setting up for US 19, Russia 20 possibility. Possibly 20 and 21 if it doesn't quite, things don't line up and I got to come to Caucasus one turn and then I can still do that blitz. So that's what I'm setting up to hopefully, potentially, possibly create a headache into the middle of all the Japan. So we kind of want to pull his guys in. So we're going to see how this goes. This may end up playing out to be a disastrous play. It may end up being a dice play. I don't know. So we're building 10 units, 6 for him, 2 for him, and then 2 for one transport coming back. What I'm going to have to do, unfortunately, is I got to put these fighters into Baltic, which means I need to pull my boats up here, which means these transports, instead of coming to here where they could pivot down to Africa, they're going to have to go to Sea Zone 1 this turn. The following turn I can pivot back and maybe bring people down as emergency resources, but that may be too late depending on what all pans out down here. Meanwhile, I'm building a bomber, and that's because he's using his carrier to threaten me. He's got no fighter down here to land on it. So he did build another bomber. Oh, yay. So I can take this. A bomber here keeps him from going to Alaska, as well as, if he wants to kill my transport with a carrier, then that gives me a shot at killing his carrier. I'd love to put a sub down here as well, but then that meant taking away my 2 units at all for coming to Africa. And unfortunately, I don't have enough mojo to go around. I'm intentionally spending slightly heavy again because I kind of want to invite him into here so that he can't reinforce back that way with a transport. I want to draw those units in if possible. Now, one of the plays I had been looking at until I realized I goofed this up, as well as I was kind of wanting to set up a retake of Caucasus and Persia by US next turn possibilities, is I was looking at blitzing the 2 tanks, 2 bombers, 2 fighters, all hitting here against 4 infantry, and it's actually a profitable battle, and it would prevent him from being able to trade this next turn, but it's just not meant to be. I was going to strike this guy with the US, but that's just going to have to be a no-go because I need everybody in here because of my miscount. There. I hate not having anything to do with them. I would bomb. I just feel like I have no success at bombing. Although bombing India wouldn't be bad, right? Although that would kind of let him know what I'm planning. Although he wants to keep building here, maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. Should I send a bomber there or not? Should I send a bomber there or not? You only need 1, right? Because he can hit 6. 2 of them's kind of an overkill on a 3 spot. Oh, I'm a little hesitant on this. I mean, I suppose going up there would make more sense anyways, right? because he's maxing out. I believe he's maxing out his production. He's buying 16 units. He's got 16 spots. Yeah, he's maxing out his production, so more potential there. And I think that is it for our attacks. The downside of this too is I have to basically abandon, leave these unguarded. So he's just gonna walk into them. He's got one shot there, so guess who's gonna pay the price? He's gonna bomb this all the way down to nothing with the German bombers. I just got that feeling. Never have ever wanted to see sixes more often than now, right? Sixes, sixes, sixes. Sixes is what we want. There's a six. All right, let's need another six. Oh, oh, hey! It's a party in the USA. Woohoo! Let's keep those sixes rolling. All right, one more six. One more six. Come on. All right, I'll take a four. My heart can start beating again. More sixes. Ah, that stinks. There goes any chance of dead zoning. Now there goes any dead zone possibility. But we can stay here one more turn at least. I don't think he's going to take a free shot at the destroyer. I'm okay with my defense against Germany, so I want to get him out. But I think I'm actually going to pull him back here just in case I need another hit shot for these guys coming back up. Because I don't really need them up there, and I don't think he's going to take a free shot, so this lets me kind of be a little bit flexible with him. Right? I think that's everybody. Let's double check this up here real quick. So this is giving me 30 units, 35, 37, 60, 79? Is that what I'm supposed to have? Double check. I want to make sure we do this right. This is kind of an important part. This says I should have 79 units, so that appears to be it. 5 fighters coming in, right? Uh, 6 fighters coming in. Oh yeah, we had 5, so 11 fighters. We got our 1 tank sitting in there. We got 7 artillery coming in with the 11. 7 artillery coming in. 35, 45, 54 infantry, 2 AAs. Alright, we're good there. Alright, I think that's everybody moved. I think I'm going to hold that artillery back here just in case we want him for Africa. Not really sure how this is going to pan out right now. Now that I have to use 1 Russian infantry back that way, that's just going to really kind of block the whole stack bit or dead zone bit, even at a risky part. So now I'm thinking that maybe best route is just going to be to build pure infantry and not mess with the artillery down. Such a bummer. Such a bummer. Because I wanted to see what his risk. I really did want to see what his risk tolerance was going to be, but it's just not worth it. Not only that, I think I'm just gonna plan on straight infantry build. Let me make sure I'm good on Kaza. So we're gonna be flying those 3 back this time. We have to. So that'll give me 9 fighters. He's now got 4 bombers in the world. Good gracious. So so I need to think about this for a minute. So since my hopes and dreams have been dashed, let's not hold on to them, right? So I think we are just going to build infantry. We can wipe out those guys, then potentially, yeah, we keep them from retrading Caucasus, right? We gotta start taking a little bit of risk, so we're gonna put risk on the board now. I don't have anything around it. We're just doing it. So this would help Africa and Caucasus if we could hit these guys this time. Are you freaking me? Are you? Oh my god. I just ain't got anything to say. This. Mm, dice just don't want me in this game. By the way, the update on the strategic bombing raid, he has now done 21, has not lost a single ship, and has done 76 damage, which without doing all the breaking down all the math, basically he should have profited about 19 total IPC with 21 shots, and instead he's profited 76. So 57 IPC his way on those bombing raids. Oh, I guess I didn't put my 2 shots I just did on there. I should add those in there. Well, I'm already committed to this, so away we go. Okay, so I had to figure out a rebalancing here. Um, Not a big fan of it, but it's what we're gonna do. It gives him a little bit of an opportunity in Moscow, to put it bluntly, where he could do a 1 infantry, 2 tank, 3 bomber, 4 fighters from down here, attack on a stack that I'll have here, 11 and 1, which isn't horrible, but I don't think he'll take it. Man, I really wanted to kill those guys. I am not gonna lie. I still may. I may take my fighters after them. Because, I mean, yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We may. I am bitter. Getting bitter with the dice right now. Alright. Nonetheless, I think we're done here. Alright, end of turn. Starting to not feel good on this game, but hopefully we can create something with this setting up a play down here of some sort.
Alright, here comes a quickie. Germany bought 10 infantry. He surprised me. He went ahead and attacked Sea Zone against that destroyer. I didn't think he'd risk, a shot at 2 against his bombers. Of course he didn't lose any though, so all good for him. Took Ukraine, Poland, and Northwest Europe. Pretty much expected moves. Other than I did not expect him to attack the destroyer and win, and again not lose anything. His bombers, I figured it out. I believe his bombers got early stealth technology. That must be what's been going on. Somehow Axis has already obtained stealth technology because we cannot shoot down a bomber for the life of us. Not that I'm bitter. Not bitter. All right. Of course, this means we're not really able to build I had to spend 7 repair, which allows me to only build 5 infantry for the UK. And I'm not even going to bother building artillery. We're just going to save up our money for repairs and max unit hit counts. With his 9 planes here, we can't keep our fleet here, so we're going to be moving them on out. Oh, you know what? I didn't count these guys. That's what I wanted. That's right. Started to lose my mind there for a second. We're going to send 1 that way with 2 infantry. We're going to send 1 infantry. You know what? We're going to do double dosing. Oh no, you know what? I can't do a 1 less there. We need... Coming from the Baltic, he'll come back. We got 2 going up there. They'll come back. Oh, wait. They're not coming back. That's right. Hold up. Get my mind back with myself. These guys are going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The last move is going to be the controversial move that I'll be interested to see what people's input on it is. I'm going to do a quick calculator double check. All right. And so this last move and the most controversial move is doing this. So the super fast look at this is if you had 2 planes going against 1 infantry, most odds are fighter hits plus 3 IPC. The infantry hits 1 in 3 turns, so 3.33 negative. So it's a 2v1 is a negative 0.33. In essence, it's the same thing with 4v2. It's a little different. I'm not splitting hairs. Ultimately, it's at a 0.66 or roughly 1 point disadvantage IPC trade for me. But not hitting them, or by hitting them, I'm saving myself 4 IPC because they can't get hit, plus the 3 of them, my infantry not getting hit. So I'm saving, in essence, 7 IPC by saving this guy, plus the effect that it has on his offensive in Africa. So that's why I'm going for it, plus the fact that I'm falling behind and I need to take risk. So there we go. There's my justification for those that would be interested. And moving along, here we go. So at least UK is getting some much needed money back. Getting some brown territory there to help pay for the bombing. Okay, I'll take it. So I killed 6, lost 10, saved 7. I'll take it. It does make Kazakh a coin flip for him, but I don't think he's going to take the coin flip. Or I don't think he's in a position that he should take the coin flip. I guess what he decides to do is entirely up to him. I was going to send these guys up to C-Zone 3, but being here gives me the flexibility to come here, or come down here, and they're not needed in C-Zone 3 right now. Since he did take the strike, I saved the one fighter so that I have a decent, force and not going to get hit by 2 bombers wiping the fleet out. Alright, we got 54, 58. That leaves me 2 that can come down this way. For trading Ukraine next turn. And I should still have enough there. Assuming I didn't miscount again this turn like I did last turn. Next turn when I only build 5, I can have someone go pick up this poor guy who's been waiting his entire war to do something. I mean, I suppose I could move him in there just in case he does a kick over, but he does have artillery in it now, so it's not really of a benefit. Just make sure these guys are in Baltic. Yep. Got. Move. They're stacking one last turn in Kaza. Alright, I think that's it. And there we go. Oh, I didn't check how much. Oh, okay, saw that right there. But we got 31. All right. So effectively 28. So we can take up to 4 bomber damage and still be able to build 8 again. We'll see. That's it. Okay, moving into US 19. This game is really, I don't know, it's starting to wear on me, to be honest. Yeah, I think I have voiced my frustration too much on some of the dice battles and some of the bombing raids and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's frustrating because I think I've generally had a slight advantage at outplaying him, but he has had a considerable advantage on the bombing raids and the dice that the game is slowly slipping in his favor further and further, I feel like. So I'm starting to get a little bit concerned with how this is going. I kept hoping out that just play smart, and eventually the dice will turn and the tide will turn in my favor. And although again, it is nice that I'm stacking up right here next to his capital. That's a good thing. I'm happy to see he pulled his Japan Air out of France, so maybe he's going to be abandoning France here to help protect Berlin soon. But he doesn't have to because of how I had to move. I only got 3 transports threatening France, so he really doesn't have much to worry about. So he can probably stay in there with just the German units right now. So the good news is, again, this is one of those misplay. This was a misplay by him. He could have stacked Novo this turn, and had he stacked Novo, then I would have had to have pulled back into Moscow and abandoned Kazakh. But he did not, so that means Novo, I get to stay here yet another turn. I could take advantage of him being around away another turn. Meanwhile, also, he did set up the possibility where I now have 2 tanks, 2 bombers that can hit Persia, 2 tanks, 2 fighters that can hit India, and I can even, sacrificing those 2 tanks, I can still hold Kazakh versus what he has left, because he's got too much of his air out of place, because I got what I wanted. I drew his transports down south, so now they cannot get back to India, but also these fighters can't reach Kaza or Moscow. This fighter can't reach Moscow, although it can add to the Kaza attack, but he only has 2 fighters now that can reach Kaza and 3 bombers. So I'm looking at this strike. It's going to cost me potentially 4 tanks, potentially not. If one of my Russian tanks survives here, because he's giving me an extra turn here, I should be able to retreat the Russian tank back the next turn. the U.S. if a U.S. tank survives here, will probably get crushed by transports coming back. But the good news is that means these are units coming out of the Africa front to come back to Persia and to a dead zoned Persia by Russia nonetheless. So he isn't going to be able to put them all there. He's going to have to drop some units back here and then transport them over to India, as well as get some of these transports set up. So the reality is, if all goes well and I take India with a Russian tank surviving, which 2 fighters, 2 tanks versus 3 infantry with willingness to sacrifice the fighters is a 93% chance to take. Average results are that I take it without losing anything. Um, I didn't check to see how often I may have to sacrifice a fighter to take it, though. Let's see. I'm pulling it up on the calculator right now. So there is an 83% chance I take with 1 fighter dying, a 56% chance I take with 1 tank, 93% if I sacrifice 2 fighters. So hopefully we get at least the 83, ideally the 56% result. Um, but even if I lose 3 tanks and a fighter, as a bad scenario, that's 28 IPC. So what am I gaining out of this? Well, I'm killing 6 units, so that's 18 IPC there. If I take these are both going to be UK, so that's going to be 4 plus 4 to UK, so we're up to 22 bonus. Japan will come back and take Persia, but they'll miss out on India for a turn, so now we're up to a plus 25. And UK will get India a second time, so we're up to plus 28 IPC bonus for doing this. So 28 on the positive, likely 18 on the negative, potentially 28 on the negative. But the other positive is he's going to have to pull units out of Africa in order to deal with this, which means this front slows down. Now, on the flip side, I don't have a lot coming to Africa, so there's that too. On the negative side, I don't know why I completely blanked on the fact that his bomber he built in Japan, which he built another bomber, by the way, the bomber he built in Japan could kill the Pearl Harbor. He didn't have to use his carrier to do that. That was just dumbo by me. So now he's setting himself up to take Pearl right back, in which case that 7 IPC, if I only get 1 turn out of it, is only 2 points positive. But I'm going to make this a little bit more painful for him. I am going to build a sub. So if he's going to take it, he's going to have to sacrifice his transport. And then next turn, I could look at trying to get a transport built again, but most likely he's going to get Pearl back in his hands and he'll get the positive value out of it. But at least, maybe I'll be able to kill a transport or possibly a carrier, although I doubt he'll bring the carrier in there since the transport can just go on its own and the bomber can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he'll do a 2 infantry bomber, sacrifice his transport so that gets to survive a while. But with my sub coming in next turn, I can move the sub this way, chase him back, and then build another transport unless he leaves his bombers just sitting over here. So that was a misplay by me. I should have been patient, held on to my transport, pulled it back, pushed him off, and then looked at it for an opportunity to get the transport into Pearl where it would be a more effective stay. So my goof there. All right. So, yes, he bought 14 infantry, a bomber, artillery, had to repair 10. Yay! And that just goes to show how rich he is, that he's still filling 16 spots and buying bombers. Boo! Hopefully we can take some of that money out this next turn and, at least take out some of his production spots for 2 turns. So, yay! Assuming this succeeds. So that's our gambit play this round. Up here on this front, I just need to make sure that I move 3 infantry, 3 artillery into the Baltic, and we'll have that still stacked like we did last time, where he could kill it, but at negative value. Um, yeah, so that's our big picture. Hoping we can start to turn the tide a little bit here, make him pull some out. At least hold on to our couple territories and see where all of this goes. The other thing that I'm going to have to do is I am going to be coming to Z Zone 23 with the Americans, which he'll have 2 bombers. Excuse me, 3 bombers. This bomber can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5, 6, or 5, 6 here, which would be, well, doable. So he can bring 3 bombers to attack my fleet of 4, and then I can bring these guys in, but he could send 3 fighters and 2 bombers from Japan there as well. However, I think with my move back here, assuming that it's successful, he's going to be pulling these guys back with the transports. He's not going to want to send the fighters out attacking this way. So even though this is at a potential positive, I think he's got like a 60% chance of wiping my fleet and my 1, 2, 3 transports, and all of these that American fleet and that British fleet. I don't think he'll take it because he'll lose a lot of fighters. He'll lose opportunity cost over here. And so we're just going to see. So combat, guess what? He sent bombers at the UK. Surprise, surprise. And I bet you can't guess how many bombers got shot down. If you said none, you are correct. But he did only do 3 IPC damage at least, so I guess I got to be thankful for that, because that should have been 7, right? But dang it, still no bombers shot down to this date. That stealth technology is just driving my guys nuts. All right. So build. We're building 8 infantry, 1 artillery. I'm going to have 1 unit short on a boat, or no, we're not. We're replacing one of our units in Norway. So because I am going to build a fighter, just because it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable with my fleet up here, because now he can do 3 bombers of Germany, 3 bombers of Japan, since I'm sending this fleet south. He could do a 1-2 shot up here, and with all my transports I'm loading up in that zone, I just feel more comfortable with 1 more fighter up there. So we're going to put a fighter up there. And we're building that sub that we're going to put over here. So there we go. That was a lot of intro, but again, just a lot of stuff kind of going on here. But we are going to go this way. I'm going to use 1 unit here because I can, and that way I can save that guy. And I think that's all the attacks, actually. Yeah, that is all of US's attacks. Because again, we're trying to build up forces here. So our main goal for the US. All right, here we go. There we go. So we got the 2 hits. But routes cleared for the Russian tanks. The infantry hit and the 8 fighters missed. Wow. Go figure. Oh wait, do I need to do that way? Now I think about it. So, yeah, the German bombers are there. Yeah, no, I can. 2 German bombers, they're safe against this. I don't need to send my transports there. The bombers move back, so 1, 2, 3, 4, they can't hit me. So we can bring these guys back to here. Actually, I'm going to bring him on down through here, I think. So these guys here, German bombers, can't hit him. These guys move, leaving him exposed. Japan bombers can't reach them. And then it's US turn and they're moving out of the way again. So we should be okay there. Now, I was thinking about putting them over here, although he could then send a fighter 3, land it on a carrier, and I don't think he'd want to do that because he wants to go that way, but he has proven to me to not be predictable. I do want this to make sure that we are on a fighter first profile now, because it's going to be tight with those 3 German bombers, and we don't want to have the fighter land. We'd rather a carrier live than a fighter land on the ground. Those guys are good. Everybody through there. We got everybody moving. We got our units going to there. Let's double check our count here real quick. 14 plus 11 is 25, 26, 27, 48, 50, 85 units. Let me double check my calculator. Is 85 units correct? 85 units is correct. So we're good there. We're going to hold that guy. Really wish I could see everything move before we're locked in. All this spaghetti throws me nuts. So I apologize about looking and looking and looking. I just don't want to make a stupid mistake. Alright. Alright. So, thankfully, Russia is still got 5 production spots, and I've got 17 IPC, so I can build all in Moscow this turn. I do want to double check what I need to keep in Moscow. I think I looked at it already, because I'm not going to be able to attack that infantry or else I have to use my fighters on him, UK fighters on him. But for an infantry, 2 tanks, 1 fighter, 3 bombers that can reach, I need to have 9 infantry in here. At the end of this, we're going to build at least 5. Now we could do artillery build since he balked. I'm going to take a quick look at, I'm going to pause for a second and look at what the dead zone percentage is on Novo this turn if I build 2 artilleries instead of just 5 infantry, since he balked this last time. So yeah, so there's like no chance of me dead zoning. I hope he just continues to see me stacking Kaza, because I can do that, and he stays out of landing into Novo. Every turn I can buy, like I said, without having to give up Kaza, the happier I am. So we're just going to buy the 5 infantry, start getting ready for our turtle time, because it is turtle time. Now I did double check. Worst case scenario. I shouldn't even talk about this, but I'm going to talk about worst case scenario. If I have to sacrifice both fighters, I can still fly this Kaza fighter back, and this would be a 55% chance at a slight IPC advantage for him. But if I'm losing 2 fighters, that's a risk I'm willing to take. Hopefully we don't lose any fighters, which is our plan and goal and hope. We will do this to try to take Novo to, again, hopefully convince him not to go there. I mean, normally if I was going to attack anything, I would be here, but if this is in red, maybe he'll be less, he'll be hesitant to land there since he can't land fighters. So, well, anyways. Here we go. This is the big one. Whiff. Oh my gosh. I'm going to pause the video so I can go curse real quick. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, that's just so unfunny. I can't even. I'm just. I'm just done talking for the moment. I'm sorry. I'm just so. Why not? Well, it's pure turtle time for Russia. And we're never going to have enough time to break Moscow or Berlin. Ugh.